Hello everyone, welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith. Yesterday I stumbled my way through some inequality puzzles with varying degrees of success. And I think we're just going to go up here and see what's going on with this new thing. That's right, difference. I did look this up. Alright, I looked forward and saw this. Okay, so this is a 3 region. This is a 1. This must be a 2. This must also be a 2. Sure. So it doesn't tell me which side is bigger, but how the absolute difference is what I am told here. Okay. If this is a 4, this has to be either 3 or 5. It comes down here. So the 4 does this. This has to go here. Well, and if it's 2 away from 3, it's not 3. It's got to be 5. Difference between the areas. So these are the same. Okay. That's a 1. This is a 2. This is a 1. This is a 3. So these can't merge. This is a 2. That's a 2. That's a 1. This I don't think is going to be a 0 if I had to guess. So this is a 4, but this is also not a 0. It's a 2. This is a 4? Okay, well, this is also a 4, but I can't get them to join up. Well, if this is a 3, it can't go there. It's got to go there. This 4 has to get to at least here, but if it goes here, I can't fit this 4 in. So we do this and this. It's at least a 4. These two regions have a difference of 1, but if I sent either one of them here, they'd have a difference of 2, so that's not possible. So there's my 5. This is at least a 3, maybe a 7. This is at least a 2, and it differs from 5 by 1, so it's in fact 4. Which means this is differing by 4 from 2. No. What? Oh. Well, it can't differ from 4 by 2. So this actually can't be 4. It's a 6, in fact. So this is a 4. That's a 1. This is a 4 and not a 6. So that's my 4 and that's a 6. And I guess that's it. If this is a 4, I don't think this looks very much like a 6. It would be very difficult to do that. So it's a 2. So this is also a 2, so it can't go there. This differs from 2 by 3, so it's 5, and this is also 5. But they're not the same 5. They have a wall. This is 5. It has to go at least there. But now this 3 has to do this. This has to come down. That's got to go there. Distracting. This is a 4. It's got to go to at least here. Well, this is either 3 or 5, right? And this is also either 3 or 5, but they're not the same. They differ by 2. So one is 3 and the other is 5. Okay. If this were a 5, I'd have trouble fitting a 4 here, wouldn't I? I don't know that it would be strictly impossible. It would be very difficult to make this a 3 Yeah, see, this almost works, but then you have two 4s that differ by 1, which is not how 4s or numbers in general work. So I think this region is the 3. Well, okay, whatever this is, it's either 3 or 5, right? So this has to be at least 2, so it has to come up. Hang on. This is 3 or 5. So this differs from that by 1. So it's 2, 4, or 6. So it's even. I can't do this, because then it would have to be odd. So this is a 1, and that's a 2. This is a 3, at least. Right. Well... These are 3 and 5 in some order, but I have to fit an extra 1 somewhere. What am I missing? Why aren't there 2 ways to do it? Why can't this be 5 and this 3 and that's done? Oh, you can do... But couldn't this be 5 and this be 3 and done? Huh? Ah, this can't differ... Right. I lost track of this. This has to differ from 2 by 1. That's why you have to do it this way. Okay. Well, I guess I'll continue doing difference puzzles. Why not? This differs from this by 4. But it can't be that this side is bigger by 4, because it can only be at most 4. So this side is bigger by at least, well, by exactly 4. Which means that it is at least 4. But it can take at most 5 cells, these 5, right? But if it's at least 4, it has to take at least these 2, right? This is 4 or 5. Means this cell is 1 or 2? And this is 1 or 2. But it can't go there, right? Because then I'd need a 5. So whether it's a 1 or a 2, we have a wall here. I mean, it seems like this is probably going to end up being a 1, so I don't have to make this a 5, but I don't see how yet. I mean, this could be as little as 1, right? I actually don't think this can be 2. Because if it were, it would have to take these 2. Well, if it were, this would be 5, and 5 would take all of these cells. So we couldn't have this one, we'd have to go here, right? But then if this were 2, this one would be 4, which is fine. You can fit 4 here. But that makes this 3, and this also 3, and this 2. Oh, that works. It doesn't seem happy. Oh, there we go. That works. Huh, I thought I was going to prove that it doesn't work, but because it was very restrictive over here, and I thought I had seen a thing that would cause a problem. But why couldn't this just be 1? This would be 2, I guess. Like this. And this could be 1. This could be 1. This could be 2. 2. 1. 1. 2. Oh, this... Sorry, this differs by 2. So if I made this a 1, this would have to be 3. This would have to be like 2, and this could be 2, and this could be 1. Right? Let's make this a 4, I guess. I have assumed it's a 4, but let's make it a specific one. Oh, it differs by 4 from this, not by 3. I see. So if this is 1, this has to be 5. Okay, that's why this is all forced. Now, to differ by 3 from 5, it has to be 2. This can't be 0. So it's actually 4, which is all of this. This is 3. This is 3 again. Okay, that's why. I missed that you can't be 4 bigger than 0. I mean, you can be, but you can't have a 0-sized region. Is this purple? Very purple window. I don't think the others have mostly been purple. I haven't paid much attention to their colors, but I think I would have noticed purple. These are both 2s. This is a 3. This can't be 0, so it's 4. 2 and 1? Sure. Why doesn't the other way work? Well, you can't make this a 4, that's why. Sure. Okay. Shape bank. Well, this region is at most size... Well, let's start here. No, let's not start there. Let's start here. This region is at most size 2. Because it can't escape while retaining its shape bank. And that means this can't be 2 smaller. It must be 2 larger. This is a 4. So I get to put a 2 here. Now, this region can't be... Well, no, I don't know. This is a 1 or a 2. This one, again, this can be at most 2, so this must be larger. It's a 4. These 2 regions are the same size. Why aren't there 2 solutions to that? Why can't I have 1, 1, 2, or 2, 2? Why aren't those both possible? Excited to find that out. Oh, it's because I made a mistake somewhere. Yes. These, I said, have to be at most 2, and therefore this has to be larger than 2. But that doesn't mean it has to be 2 and 4. It could be 1 and 3. Right? But this 3, if it is indeed a 3, can't face this way, because then this would have to be 0. So this cell definitely goes here. And then maybe it goes here, or maybe it takes these two. In this corner, I'm not sure I can make the same argument. Well, okay, let's go here. This can't be a 2, because you can't differ by 3. This is where I should have started to begin with. So it has to be a 1. And then this is a 4. Now I know what this does. It's a 3. And that's a 1 as well. This has to be a 3 or a 4, but if it were a 3 going this way, we couldn't fit a 3 here. So it's a 4. That's a 2. Got it. Oh, exciting stuff. Well, I can do all this. That's lovely, I'm sure. These are the same size? And clearly they're both just size 2. This differs by 1, so it's a 3. This is also a 3. This is either a 2 or a 4. But if it were a 4, it would have to look like this, and then this 0, this would also be a 4, which would be a problem. So it's a 2. This is also a 2. This has to be a 4, which can be done in only one way, and this is a 2. This has to differ by 2 from its neighbor, but a 3 can't differ by 2 from anything, so it's a 4. And this is a 2 going in some direction. This has to get to here and differ by 2. It can't be a 4 because you can't fit. It can't be a 3 because there's no 1s or 5s, so this is a 2 and this is a 4, which I believe you can do in only one way again. Yeah, like this. So this must be part of a 3. This has to differ from 4 by 2, so that's it. Then this is a 3. Seven! So there has to be an 8 region and a 1 region. Could this be the 8 region? Maybe. If you put like a 3 and a 4 in here, you could just squeeze in a 1. Oh, but then you'd have to do the same down here as well. No, you wouldn't. Well, yeah, this would have to be the 1. This would end up making... This is impossible. You need a 5 and a 4. You can't do that. So this is the 8 area. And this is a 3. And this is a 4. That's a 1. You can't differ by 4 from 4, so you have to differ by 4 from 3. And this is Well, it can't be a 7. It must be a 1. So this is a 5. These are such big numbers, I can't count this high. So I must have some quite large regions and some quite small regions, right? In fact, I must have one region that is at least size 10, and there are 20 cells in the puzzle. I can't have a second 10. So these sort of 9 differential areas have to reach each other somehow. And then there are at least 2 1s opposite them. If this were the 1 side of the 9, I'd have a very tough time, wouldn't I? Because this would be a 1. I'd need an 8 and a 10, and also these 2, and also some more regions. Yeah, that's not possible. So this is the 1 side. This is the 10 side. Red for danger. But the 9 can't get in here, right? So the 10, excuse me, not the 9. So there's some other region that's here. And if this is the big side of the difference by 7, I mean, we're going to have a really tough time. We'd need at least an 8, right? I mean, get real. So this, I think, is the small side, which and assuming, like, it seems sort of normal to say, look, this 10 is going to hit all of these guys. We're going to create a 1, sorry, a 3, a 3. Well, no, this can't be. Wait, slow down. I didn't make a mistake yet, did I? If this were the 1 side, I'd have a 10 here. This would also be a 1. I'd have an 8 here. And then I have to fill this in. So no, that's not possible. So this is the danger side. And this is a 1. Well, no, I don't know that it's a 1. It could be a 2. Maybe there's an 11. But this, I don't think, can be the small side of the 7, right? Because I'd need, like, that to be a 1. Then I have a 10 here. And an 8. And a 1. And I've still got, like, a bunch of these differences that are impossible to obtain without putting some small numbers. So these are both in the red zone. I don't know that that's a 1. It seems like it should be, though. Like, this looks like a very natural thing to do. Have this be exactly 10. Put a 3 here. A 1 there. This needs to be a 2 of some variety. This is a 1. I've got a 3 here. And this needs to grow by just a bit more? Like that? Yeah, so it is just sort of like... I didn't really prove at any point that I had to do this. But it just seems like making this 10 into an 11 would make things even harder. You could probably work it out by, like... I don't know. Can there be a second large region of any kind? No. And therefore... this has to spawn, like, yeah, okay. So suppose this is 10. Then you need a 1, a 1, a 3, and a 2. And if you add that to 10, apparently you get the size of the region. So I think that would have been the methodical way to approach it. Range 2 to 4. And a mismatch. So we're going to need a lot of 4s in this grid, right? Because there can only be 1, 2, and 2 3s. So, like, right. This does have to be a 4, because mismatch. You can't put 2 dominoes in. That's not allowed. And a 3 would leave a gap. So this is a 4. So this is a 3. And this is a 3. And this is a 4. This 4 has to go to at least there. This has to be at least a 2. I've already had both of my 3s. I don't think this could be a 2, because then you end up with a 4 here and... Oh, yeah, it just works. Okay. Great. Range 3 to 5. Well, each of these 2s mean we must have a 3 on one side and a 5 on the other. The whole grid is size 12. So I can't have 2 5s. And I can't have 2 3s either, right? Because then you have 3, 3, 5, and you need to make up the 11th. You're at 11, rather. And you need to make up the 12th with a size 1 region, which is forbidden. So, the 2 sides of these walls have to be touched by the same 2 regions, which I think has to look like this. Rose windows. Oh, man. Okay, so the area of this grid is 28, 7 by 4. I need to break that up into 3 numbers. 2 of which are the same, and 1 of which differs from that same by 2. So you can do some algebra, I guess, right? The size of your shared region is A. And your non-shared region is A plus or minus 1. Okay, that's not so easy to algebra. But you can imagine, okay, first, is the odd one out bigger? Oh, actually, you don't have to do that. You can figure it out analytically. Because these 3 regions have to add up to 28, which is 1 larger than a multiple of 3. So you have to have A plus A plus A plus 1, not A plus A plus A minus 1. So the odd region out is bigger. And we have 9 plus 9 plus 10. Yes, that adds to 28. Okay, fine. Oh, but no, I can't conclude that. Well, if I did this, wouldn't I have trouble finishing properly? Yeah. This one has to get back, well, yeah, well, maybe this just works? No, it doesn't. So it feels like it doesn't go up. Like, okay, what's the smallest? If you just went completely direct, how big is this? 8. So each of the smaller regions takes only 1 extra cell. So this purple one, yeah, purple and green both have to hug the corners plus extend 1 in order to reach one of the comparison cells, walls. So this one in the middle has to do the funny thing, where it touches both of these. But it can't do that. Okay, so I think I made the hasty assumption that the ones on the outside must be 9s, but why couldn't one of them be 10? I mean, it has to be, doesn't it? Because I mean, this much is true. They have to hug the corners. But this pink region is going to pass by both of these walls, right? It has to pass by each of them on one side. And if you compare the large region, yes, the region that goes through the center has to be a small one, because a large one would compare 0 to both. So this has to be a small region. And whichever one the big one is, yeah, I claimed earlier that they each have to reach up to a wall, but that's not true. Okay. I think one of them doesn't reach up at all, and the other one reaches up both times. Because this is being compared to both regions. well, a small one is anyway. And it's this one, because it has to pass by 2 walls to get to its friend. So this is definitely a small region. So, like, suppose it did this. Well, that's no good. It compares to the same guy twice. So it does have to go through the middle, like this. Right? Yeah. And it's currently size 8, so it can take one of these. But it's comparing to a 0 down here. So this is the other size 9 region. And we do this. And then this can be the 10, grabbing a comparison and a spare. I felt like that puzzle should not have been as hard for me as it was. Range 2 to 3. These are the same size. Mingle shape. They're the same size, but not the same shape. So they're 3s. Okay, well, this one has to touch here. As a, well, no. And this one has to go straight. If this didn't take this cell, it would be stranded. So it does have to go here. And if it goes here, this is stranded. So we have this. 2, 4, 6, 10 cells remain. 3, 3, 2, 2? Well, oh, what's here? It can't be a 3. It must be a 2. This can't be a 2, so it's a 3. This can't be either kind of 3, so it's a 2, and I guess this is a 3 line. Yes, it was 3, 3, 2, 2. Stop showing me 5s. I'm too stupid right now. Where do you start? Here looks promising? Because it has to touch both of these walls. One side, well, no, it could do this. This has to touch one of these comparison walls. I don't know which. Oh, this one's easy. It has to go there. And so is this square. I was too focused on differences. There's just some easy stuff lying around. I don't think this can be a 1, can it? Because then this also has to be a 1, and you end up with this. And then this is a 3, but you're stranded, right? So that doesn't work. This has to be part of the T, which forces it to be exactly that shape. Now this S can't have that shape. It has to do this. This differs. So this is a 1, and I guess we're doing that. This is either 2, which seems likely, or 6, which I don't think you can do. This is a 3. This has to go up that way. This is either a 1 or a 7. Either way, it's not a 3. That's a 1. This is a 3, and this is a 4, so they can't be allowed to be the same. This is a 3, but this is a 2. Oh, that's a 2, so we have this, okay. Oops. Yeah. This is therefore a 3, and we're done. Okay, nice and simple. Alright, hit me with the 5, I guess. Oh boy, more algebra. 7 times 5 is 35 cells big. So I think you should be asking the question, well, wait a minute. There's 3 comparisons here, and they're all different. So, like, let's imagine we didn't have most of the puzzle. We just had this wall here to work with. Differences. What different, like, the smallest cell could be 1. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but let's just imagine 1 for the moment. Then you can have one bigger from it by 5. But you couldn't have one bigger than that 5 by 6. Because then you'd have a 1. So, okay. There are two regions whose size is adjacent. Is that a word you use for numbers? I mean, you can. But it's not the normal one. Contiguous, something. 2 regions whose size is very close. We can tell that here. Let's call them red and blue. Then this wall can't be comparing red and blue, right? Red and blue must be comparing to a different region, purple. So maybe this is blue comparing to purple, and this is purple comparing to red, although I think it would have to be like, well, I don't know. Like this. So we have I think you can do the same modular arithmetic to figure out whether the 2 that are adjacent are larger or smaller. Because let's imagine they're the smaller one. And then there's one big region that's being compared to them to yield 5 and 6. You end up with the size of... Sorry, this isn't right. There are 2 regions whose size is close, and 1 whose size is far away. Is the far away one smaller or larger? If the far away one is smaller, then we have x plus 5 plus x plus 6 is 35. So 3x plus 11 is 35. So 3x is 24. That makes sense. But what if you do it the other way? 3x minus 11 is 24. So 3x... Sorry, not 20... sorry, 3x minus 11 is 35. You end up with 46. Sorry. 3x minus 11 is 35. So 3x is 46, but that's not divisible by 3. So that's not possible. So the region with a size that is different from the others has the smaller size. It's x. And then x plus... x is 8, right? Because I said 3x is 24. So does that work? 8 plus 13 plus 14. 13, 21, 14, 35. Yes, that works. So there's a region of size 8, 13, and 14. Let's write those down before I forget them. 8, 13, 14. And this 6, well, the 13 and 14 both have to touch this 1. And the 8 has to touch this 5 and 6. Clearly, it's not doing something like this. The 6 would be stranded. So it has to touch the same side of the 5 and the 6. Could it do this? Barely. Maybe that's interesting. But... well, okay. No, because this region is here, and you need the third region here. Well, yeah. And it can't both touch one of these and get out without blocking orange. So no. The 8 can't touch this side. The 8, what is a good color for 8? Yellow has an E in it. Touches these cells. And that means the other regions have to get to the back. And there's only 2 ways in. They have to go in separately. Right? But what? How do you get to the 2 sides of this 1? I guess like this? Oh, you have to go further to make room for the 8. Ah! Okay. So I think this is my 8. And how big is this region already? 4, 8, 10, 11. And it can't touch both of these. If it touches this one, it's stuck. So it has to go here. So this has to be my 14. Okay. And it's on 12 now, is it? 4, 8, 12. Oh, 14? Okay. Well, I could have done the algebra a bit faster. Delta. Different shapes, not just different sizes, different shapes. I mean, if these were each size 1, you'd have to put in 2 3s, and they would delta break, right? So these aren't size 1, they're size at least 2. But if they were size actually 2, you'd have to put a 4 here. So that's not possible. So they're size at least 3. But if they're only size 3, these are both 1s, which are the same shape. So these are actually size 4. So this is a 2. I don't like this. This is a 2 that's shaped differently? They don't... They don't have shapes like that, man. So, what if these were 1s? These would both be 3s. But the only kind of 3 you can fit into this wibbly wobbly, you can't fit a straight one, right? So you gotta fit 2 elbows. Which is no good because of this guy. Because of the delta, they can't both be the same. So this could be 2. Oh, do you know you can fit 2? No, you can't. You can't fit 2 4s. Okay, so this has to be at least 3 then. But if it were exactly 3... Oh, I can have a 1 and a 5. I see, like this. Got it. Now here, if these were both 1s, these would be 3s, which is no good. So what if they were both 2s? These would be 4s, which don't actually have to be the same. Range 2 to 4. I mean, this wall is almost acting like size separation. In this area it is, but I guess it'll affect what's down here. Well, if this... So obviously, these all have to be 2s and 4s, right? That's... You can't have a 3 because the delta to it is wrong. So if this were a 4, though... Like... This cell is the same shape as this cell, because it's plus or minus 2 and then plus or minus 2 again. So this cell can't go here. But it has to. And it can't... What? So this... Let me try this again. This cell is a different size from this one, but the same size. Ah, not necessarily the same region, the same size as this one. Well, but that's, yeah. And then the same size as this one as well. So it can't touch either of them, but it has to do something. How can this cell do anything? Oh, right. It could be a 4 that merges with one of the other 4s. Got it. So it can't be a 2, because then it couldn't merge. It would have to do this or this. But it can be a 4. So these are each 2s, but they can't face each other. This has to be a 4. This is also a 4. Well, this is also a 4. No, 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 no. Yes, no. This doesn't have to be a 4. It could be a 3. This is a 2 or a 3 or a 4. Well, if this is a 4, it has to come up here, and then it merges with this region. So this is the 4 that goes in the other direction. This has to be a 2, so the 4 goes here. Now I can't fit any 3s here, can I? Yeah, you could do this, but then you need another 3. So this is a 2 going in this direction. Range 2 to 4, but there's no 3s, you trickster. Simple enough. This is a 3, it has to get to at least there. Could this be a 5? No. Right? Can't be nearly as big as a 5. So this must be the small end of a difference by 3. So this has to be at least a 4. And now this is a 1, this is a 4. Because if this were any bigger than a 1, it would be an inconsistent size. So it is a 1. This is a 2. And this is a 3. That all adds up. Now, finishing up here. This is a 3. So if I did this, I'd need a 2 here, which I can't have. Non-boxy. Can't go there, because if you did, you'd be the same as this shape, but also different. This is size at least 4 here. And it's already got a comparison to this shape, so it can't do this. It would be incoherent. This can't go here. It would be incoherent. Got it. This still has to keep going because currently it's a box. This one doesn't. It could stop. But it's already at least size 6. You can't go there. So if this is at least size 6, this is at least size 5, this is at least size 3, it has to go there. Okay, now in principle this could stop, and so this though has to keep going, and so all of these have to keep going as well. Actually, is that true? If this is actually the bigger of the two regions, I could maybe have this stay at size 4 and grow this to size 6. Well, it has to be size 5, right? In fact, this region, which must be quite small... Well, it can't go there. It has to go up. Maybe it isn't quite small. Maybe it's like a 7 or something. This has to come up to be non-boxy. This is crazy. These differ in size by at least 4, so one of these is at least 7. If this were 7, this could be 5 and this could be 6, and we could just about stop. Oh, but if this can't be 7, because this is at least 4, so it would have to be like 8? Need 5 more of these cells, and this needs 1 more to be... No, it would be done. It would be a 4. This would need 2 more to be a 6. But then these would have to be 7s. They would have to grow. So this is not the big one. This is the small one. In this comparison. So this is at least 7. So we could have this be 5 and these be 6, I think. If I find a way to make a non-boxy, yeah, like this. How am I doing on this window? Is it at all reasonable to try to do something with it this episode? Is this it? Yeah, I could do 2 more puzzles, right? Surely. And then it'll unveil the really hard ones. What kind is this? This is an inequality. These are 1s. I think we can all agree on that. This is a 5. This is a 6. But it can't go very far because this is only a 3. Barely fit all this. And this. And this. It's kind of silly to use difference for this, right? Like, they could have just done this with area numbers. They told me 2 1s and then said, okay, figure out how to add 1. And they're not even all necessary. You don't need this one, because this one gives you the same thing. It's nice for symmetry to have them both. I don't disagree. If this is a 3, it has to be exactly those 3 cells, doesn't it? No, could do this. Because these are allowed to be separated. But there's a 4 here and a 3 here. This 3 kind of feels like it has to do this, and then we do this. 1 more, a 2. Boxy. Difference of 5. So one of these is completely full. Well, it's not this one, because then I need a 4 and a 3, right? So that's a 1 and that's a 6. This is a 2 and this is a 3. This is a 2. And this is a 2? No, it's a 4. I see. So maybe like that. It's gotta be boxy! A boxy 4. Okay. So then this is just a 2. And it can't be in this square. Okay. Alright, I did not gild the window. But I silvered it. The Steam achievement has finally made it clear to me that this is being called silver. We have silvered a window. Not metal or whatever. Platinum. Okay, that's good progress for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.